Well, welcome to this video where unfortunately I have to call out a media network, a TV station in New York City, and that is WABC-TV, Eyewitness News, Channel 7, because they just don't feel like covering local news again. They're back to gearing to the finance professionals, and it's so obvious when you look at their page. They're all over, of course, the war. They want to talk about the war, all right? That's all they want to talk about. It's terrible. First of all, right off the bat, Trump started this war, and it was a big mistake. All right, that's the bottom line. But if you're watching Channel 7 and probably a number of other TV stations, they're going to make it sound like this war is a good thing because they're controlled by Wall Street and all that other stuff. So you see what's going on here on their webpage here. All updates on the war here. All right, NYC protests, New York City on alert, SCOTUS resolves. I mean, this is all national news. Mangione, video of Clinton Epstein, Lunar New, and then they have a fluff story on the Lunar New Year parade. So they don't really feel like covering any crime. They did cover this. Small plane lands on the Hudson. Let's see if they actually have anything. No, they don't even. They don't even have a video for it. Looks like. So it looked like. Oh, that was upstate by Newburgh. So they're probably barely going to cover it. I'm sure they're barely going to cover it. You can see this. I don't know what they got on here and now. Oh, it's the stream. That's the streams. That's. Yeah. That's. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this station. I just don't know. But there is all over the national news constantly. All over the national news, all over it. And it's obvious because I was watching at 5 o'clock today. Unfortunately, I did not take a picture of it, but they showed the stocks again. I mean, it's so obvious who they gear to now. They're gearing to white finance professionals. It's so obvious. It really is. It really is. I'm not going to play any of these stories because we've all heard about this a million times. This isn't going to be a long video, but they have to be called out, particularly this guy here, John Antonio, who is the news director. Fortunately, I don't have his picture here, but he's the vice president of news. All right, so he's the news director. Seeing we try to get his picture in here. Thought it did. Yeah, they kind of have his picture over here. It just goes to the stream. It doesn't even let me put the picture up, which is kind of interesting. Let me see. Open picture. Open image in new tab. Will that work? Yeah, you got a little thumbnail there, but you could tell who this guy gears to. You could obviously tell what goes on here at Channel 7. So I don't know who the actual news director is, but let's see. So this is the person. There's the news director. So there he is. That's the news director. This is the guy who's gearing to the snobs, gearing to the white finance professionals, and pretty much not interested in covering any crime that happens. Let's see, 10-10 wins. You'll see. Well, I'll show you what they didn't cover here. Let's see. Stabbing incident Bronx. Barely covered that. Police misconduct. They don't really care about crime. Man with umbrella. Upper East Side. They didn't even cover that. So yeah, it's obvious. It really is. They don't want to cover the crime because again, they're gearing to people in their enclaves. They don't have to deal with crime. All right. And the reason why I'm calling out the Channel 7 in particular is because if you look at the other station, which honestly I'm going to start watching on the streaming TV now, where I go, 6 ABC. Their lead story isn't even the war. It's a fire in Bristol. All right. See, they have one story on the war. Everything else is mostly local news. All right. They cover local news. 3 killed in head-on crash in Ocean County, New Jersey. And this is the station they watch in Toms River, by the way, is WPVI. That's what they watch in Toms River. That's the ABC news network that they usually watch in Toms River, all right? Because they don't want to see a bunch of news that gears to snobs, all right? And that's what Channel 7 does. They just gear to the snobs. They don't really care about what's going on. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna look at their 11 p.m. open, and we'll see what they have in the 11 p.m. open, but I'm sure it's going to be all geared to you-know-who again. So that's what it is. It's all just geared to, I mean, they don't cover any local, I mean, they don't cover local news. I mean, the FCC should investigate them because they're not covering local news. Really, they need to be investigated. All right? So, yeah, we're going to take a look at the 11 p.m. open, and then we'll go from there. That'll be the second part of this video. Just see what they have on the 11 p.m. open, because I have a feeling it's going to all be about the war again. How is this local news? This is what the FCC needs to investigate stations. You have an obligation to cover local news that affects people in New York, like crime, fires, transit disruptions, the environment. Not a war 5,000 miles away, all right?
And we are following several breaking stories tonight, including a small plane going down in the Hudson River. What we're learning about the crash...
Or at least they're talking about the plane crash.
And the intensifying tonight. Iran retaliating against U.S. interests, and Americans in the region being told to get out. Good evening at 11 o'clock. I'm Sade Better-in-Law. And I'm Mike Barza. All of that just ahead. But first up, another round of snow and rain, and then a big change right behind it.
It's actually going to the weather.
Goldberg is off. Jeff Smith is here tonight, timing it all out.
That's shocking.
We'll call this a nuisance event that'll be affecting the back half of the Tuesday morning commute. We have winter weather advisories in effect for interior parts of New Jersey, Orange County, also up into parts of the Catskills and Poconos. Up to an inch of snow and light glaze of ice after that before it goes over to rain eventually during the afternoon. But there could be some slippery spots again for the back half, the latter half of the Tuesday morning commute. Up until now, a lot of this stuff has been staying well off to our south, but this little bulge in the precipitation here over the Ohio Valley is kind of heading in our direction, and that'll be in our backyard by tomorrow morning, just increasing clouds overnight tonight. Certainly cold enough for this to begin at the onset as some wintry weather. You see the clouds lowering and thickening overnight. By daybreak, some precipitation showing up over the southern half of New Jersey. Rain right along the coast, maybe a little bit of snow and mixed precipitation inland, and then this kind of overspreads the area between 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning. And you see what happens. The numbers go above freezing as we head into the afternoon, even north of New York City. So even there, it'll change over to rainfall eventually. So a wintry mix tomorrow morning for New York City, and at the coast, again, beginning between, say, 8 and 10 a.m.
I'm surprised they live with the weather.
Snow north and west with some slippery.
Well, it definitely did not leave with the weather at 5 o'clock, I'll tell you that.
Those places to the north change to plain rain from south to north midday into the afternoon hours. This all ends later on tomorrow night, and then milder breaks of sunshine on Wednesday. So it's a mix to rain, New York City and coast, more like a coating to an inch of snow for a few hours of snow, and then maybe going over to freezing rain, creating some slick spots right up through about midday north and west before even they go over to rain later on in the afternoon. Clouds and sun on Wednesday, 51. Some late night rain returns, occasional rain and drizzle on Thursday, 48. We go through some more growing pains through the rest of the work week, and then big warmth by the second half of the weekend, right as we swing those clocks forward as we spring ahead to daylight saving time. We'll talk about that in your AccuWeather forecast coming up. Back over to you. Jeff, thank you. Now to breaking news tonight and a mini version of a miracle on the Hudson tonight, 60 miles north of New York City. A small plane crashed on the river shortly after 8 p.m. in Newburgh. That's near Stewart Airport. 2 people were on the plane. Both had to be rescued by boat, but are said to be okay. The plane was a Cessna 172, which is a 4-seater. No information yet on the cause of the crash. And now to that breaking news overseas.
Of course. Gotta get to this. There you go. They're showing the true colors now.
By striking the U.S. Embassy in Rahan, Saudi Arabia. The U.S. saying the embassy was relatively empty and no one is believed to have been injured. But there was a fire and the building is damaged. Tonight, Americans there are being told
they're going to spend so much time in it. Look at the clock.
These countries are being told by the State Department to
look at the clock. And then we're going to come back, and we'll see how much time they spend on it.
Major airlines cancel flights to and from the region.
Because at 5 o'clock, they spent 11 minutes on it.
War Power's resolution of his reasoning for military action in the Middle East. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon is here with the breaking information.
Of course, we got team coverage.
Its capabilities have been
and this is local news. How? How is this local news? Can you explain to me how this is local news? Any one of you out there can explain to me how this is local news?
It was mostly empty. And tonight, President Trump says the operation against Iran
look at
will
the
take
time.
as long as
We're going to spend a lot of time on this. You'll see.
18
Still going.
service members were wounded in that attack and are recovering. Fighting is taking
11:05.
place right now in Lebanon, where Iran-backed Hezbollah has been firing into
Still
Israel,
going.
and Israel is striking at Hezbollah targets. Mike?
There are so many developments and they're happening quickly.
Yep.
ABC has reporters
See,
spread out.
they're still
around
going.
the
They're still
world.
going. This is all they're covering.
Here in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Forget about local news. This is all they're covering.
A drawn-out mission.
Tonight, Secretary Pete Hegseth addressing concerns the U.S. might get dragged into another protracted war in the Middle East.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it. This is not Iraq. This is not endless.
More.
Flight disruptions and the threats of violence over a key shipping passage.
For those trying to get out, airspace is on lockdown. This flight tracker shows just how many flights are staying away.
With oil prices jumping just moments ago, Iran warned it will...
It's so obvious. What are we watching here? CNN? Where's the local news that affects people in New York City?
Where some 20%
And the New York metropolitan area?
And ABC's Martha Raddatz is monitoring things out of Washington, D.C., looking at what has already been the fallout from the attacks.
All right, we've been going 4 minutes on this now.
Images shared with ABC
4
News
minutes.
show extensive damage at the Konarak air, drone, and naval bases in southern Iran.
Still going.
Living here in our area, they're torn between the elation they feel because
Still
the
going.
regime is gone, but also heartbroken that their country is now under attack. Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang with that part of the coverage.
They're still doing this.
For these Iranian Americans, it is a nuanced celebration.
We're going to 11:08 now.
Their homeland is under attack, but they are thrilled their oppressive dictator
And a lot of them have money. That's why they're covering it.
An entire country of people is
11:08 now.
You know that there's something wrong.
11:08.
Iranians a shot at democracy.
We are so much closer to the idea that there might
So,
be a day
it's
where
funny, they're not showing any anti-war stuff, just the pro-war stuff.
Free Iran, which we never thought would happen in our lifetimes.
While they agree this new beginning would
Okay,
not
thank
happen
President
via
Trump. That's what
diplomacy,
she said. I
there
mean,
were counter voices at Columbus
all right,
Circle
yeah, all right, here you go.
condemning the military strikes.
This war has already claimed 500 people, including 4 American servicemen.
We want to see
Exactly.
over $1 trillion that this country spends on war, death, and destruction be invested in sustaining life for people here.
At least they're covering that. Yeah, they only get a little bit, though, of course.
Grievously. The next few
Here it is,
weeks
11:09 now, 11:09.
critical in determining
Still
what
going.
new form of government assumes control. In Times Square, Lucy Yang, Channel
Still
7,
going.
Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, there is added security in New York City for the Jewish holiday of Purim, which started tonight. The NYPD says it is deploying extra resources to Jewish sites and neighborhoods across the five boroughs.
Where's the crime? We're not covering crime today. We're not covering fires.
Additional cops on the streets.
There's still people getting hurt on the subways. You don't care.
Deadly shooting at a bar in
Oh,
Austin,
finally.
Texas is now
Oh,
being
that's not
investigated as a
local
potential
news.
act of terrorism.
That's Austin, Texas.
The gunman may have been acting in response to the U.S. airstrikes on
11:10
Iran.
now. Where is the local
Natural
news?
assistant from Senegal was wearing a sweater that said "Property of Allah" and a shirt with an Iranian
Where is the
flag
local
design.
news now?
He opened
Going
fire
on
outside a
11.
bar full of college students over the weekend, killing 2 people and wounding more than a dozen. The gunman was shot and killed by police.
First Lady Melania Trump today
Here we go. I mean, there's no local
Council
news.
focusing on children and education in conflict zones. She didn't specifically mention the war.
There's no
but
local
Iran did
news
address
at all.
Family members of slain U.S. service members.
My heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their heroes, who sacrificed
Really,
their
you should be
lives.
ashamed of yourself, WABC. You should absolutely be ashamed of yourself.
Deeply shameful and hypocritical for the U.S. to convene a meeting on protecting children while launching airstrikes on Iran. Iranian state media
Already on the rise because of the ongoing conflict.
I mean,
Today,
impact on
station
gas price.
Terrytown that was raising its prices by 10%.
And I bet you they're going to show the
Price
stocks.
of crude oil surged by 8%.
I mean, it's so obvious who they gear to, man.
Shows you the gas prices in your neighborhood and how they
It's
changed
so
over the
obvious
months.
who the
You can
station
go to
gears to now.
abcny.com/price tracker to check it out.
The Supreme Court has sided with Republicans and shot down a plan to redraw the district that includes Staten Island. Incumbent Nicole Malliotakis challenged a ruling which said the district needed to be redrawn because it diluted black and Latino
And this is
voting
political
power.
news. Where is the crime? We don't care about crime.
Today's ruling proves that challenge to our district lines was always meritless. The plaintiffs in this case attempted to manipulate our state's courts to use race as a weapon to rig our elections.
The House Oversight Committee today released some videos of Bill and Hillary.
There's no local news.
Depositions last week on the Epstein case.
This news director needs to be fired.
Distance himself from the late sex offender.
No, I never witnessed during our limited interactions.
So you're not getting any local news on Channel 7 right now. No local news.
I'm here to offer what little I know so I can do my part.
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
Yep.
Former President Clinton also told lawmakers that Donald
what are we watching here? What are we watching?
Epstein fell apart over a real estate deal.
New charges tonight against the man arrested for driving his car into Habab World headquarters. Federal prosecutors have secured an indictment against Dan Sohail. However,
they don't care. New York City, this station does not care about you.
Exact charges. Sohail is accused of repeatedly ramming his Honda Accord into
Right, this did happen in New York City, so they are covering that. But that's political, so that's where they're covering
Today
it.
Show host Savannah Guthrie.
And of course, Nancy Guthrie.
Home today for the first time since she was abducted more than a month ago. Savannah, Annie, and Annie's husband Tommaso.
Seriously.
They walk down the driveway.
This is TV for snobs. This is TV for snobs. That's what this is.
Instagram saying they feel the love and the prayers, adding, "Please don't stop praying and hoping with us."
Counter arguments today from the Manhattan DA's office in Luigi Mangioni's murder case. At a new filing, prosecutors defended the police.
I've seen enough. This is TV for snobs. This is TV for snobs. You know what, Channel 7? You need to be investigated by the FCC for failing to live up to your duty to cover local news.
The trial is set for June.
New next at 11, frightening moments unfolding aboard a flight headed to our area after an emergency landing.
This is TV for snobs. I've seen enough.
Just to evacuate. Details on what
I've seen enough. So this is not a network that actually cares about covering local news that affects your average New Yorker. They obviously gearing up. This is from another day, that stock thing, but they show the stocks. They're gearing to white collar news. They're not covering actual news. This is all they're trying to gear to Wall Street, and that's what goes on when you have the media controlled by Wall Street. This is what happens. All right, it's really bad here in New York. It's really bad. It's thank God we have News 12. They actually do a decent job covering. News 12 has been doing very good lately. But the New York City stations, in particular, Channel 7, just disgraceful. Just absolutely disgraceful. It's just TV for snobs. This is TV for snobs. That's the bottom line. You know, if you like this kind of thing, if this is what matters to you, then you're a snob, all right? Because you have people that are dealing with crime, people who are afraid to ride the subway in the city. You have still fires going on. And they don't give a crap about what the average people in New York City go through riding the subway with the homeless and the crime. They don't give a crap about it, right? Because all these rich snobs, they don't take the subway. They live in the suburbs going on their trains and they don't take the subway or they drive. They don't deal with this crap, all right? Channel 7, all I got to say is you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And the other thing I'm going to say, and as I've said it a million times before, it's one of my favorite phrases. I said it at an MTA board meeting years ago, and when I'm really angry and I have nothing, and this is what comes up on my mind, I'm going to leave it at this. You're all a bunch of snobs.